Hey guys, Keith from the Ash and Fly Shop here. It is October caddis time. They're popping down on the McLeod. We're going to start seeing them on the Klamath and things like that. I'm going to do something a little different today. I'm kind of doing a twofer. We're going to do a skater and a regular old dry fly for you single hand guys, like down on the Upper Sac, the McLeod, anywhere you want to do it old school. And then we're going to show you the same fly, just tied on a different hook and a little bigger to get you skater guys happy. And here we go. All right, so we're going to start with the little guy here, just the old school caddis fly. This is really basically an elk hair caddis with a couple of twists to it. It's really not that hard. It floats really high. We're doing a kind of a foam body back here you can do your hopper droppers off of it. I really like this fly. I've been using it forever. TMC 200Rs, orange thread. I use 6 and 8/0 pretty much for everything, even my steelhead flies, but you can use whatever you like as long as it's the right colors, I guess. I start with orange foam, and then you've seen me do this before in my salmon flies and all that. I'm going to kind of get this variegated look there. I either paint, on this one I used a little bit of spray paint that I had just to paint the back of this. It was black. You can kind of see it gives it a little brown look. And then it's just regular 2mm orange foam with either Sharpie or whatever you got laying around to blacken up the back of that. Let's get that thread way back here. Then what I do for the small one, I really don't want a big strip, so I'm going to cut this. Do another one just because I can. I'm going to cut a nice thin little strip like this. That's about 1/8 of an inch for those of you that are at home that are wondering. What we're going to do is just going to tie it on like that, tie it down real good. Oh. Yep. And we are just going to start taking this around and wrapping it up. Give us that. Look, you can see that orange from the cut on the side really pops out. Gives that great look there. And then I'm just going to tie it off. Like so. Now you've seen me do the same trick with the orange and painting stuff black or brown or green or whatever color. I did it on my salmon flies. I do it a lot. It's kind of a trick I use a bit to get this look. I like it. It's a nice look and it's super easy to use. Let's see, a little bit of flash, one little strand. I'm going to put 2 strands on each side here once I get it kind of uncrinkled. And this is just crystal flash. Actually, I think this might even, this is just crystal flash. Maybe a little smaller, maybe midge flash. But don't need a lot of flash in this fly. Those fish are already looking up for these big adults. Then just to get it in the right place, I'm going to pull it back. Kind of figuring out about where I'm going to want my wings anyways. And like that. So see, just 2 little pieces. That's all you need. So basically we got our crystal flash on there. We're really making an elk hair caddis with a foam body. It's really what we're doing without wrapping up hackle, and it's super simple. So I'm just grabbing some deer hair or elk hair, whatever I got around. In this case it's both elk, but you can use kind of whatever color you want. I'm using a little lighter stuff today just because I got it here and I like it. Get a little clump. I'm going to clean out all this crap. Then I'm going to clean out all this stuff. It's in there, all the under fur. Go ahead and stack it. All right, clean it out again. And what I'm going to do is just make a nice clean little cut right across there so that. So here's the trick, people. Over and then, oh, no, I want it bigger. Over and then tighten up on it. Pulling up every time I'm tightened so I'm not spinning the deer hair or elk hair. Whichever you've got. Just like that. Now I'm going to take my hackle, I'm going to clean up an end. This is just rooster, because I like that red in here, that red and black. Same thing, just tie it down right there. Now, one trick I like to do here is, got a little bit of UV glue. This is the loon stuff, it's the flow, it's really thin. I like it, so I can just drop some in there. It kind of gets, you just work it in just a little bit. It's thin, so it'll hold everything in place for you a little bit. And it'll stop your deer hair from spinning on you later, like when you're out on the river. If you've ever had that happen, you tie an elk hair caddis and the whole head wants to wobble. Just get a dab of glue in there right then. So then we're going to wrap a little spot of hackle on there, come up around and lock it in. Like so. Almost done this fly. Oh, my finger's probably blocking what I'm doing there. All right, that looks good. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all that deer hair and I'm gonna push it up and out of my way so I can get right in there. Just like that, and I'm going to start building a head in there, right up behind all that deer hair in front of that hackle. And really getting that kind of tight so it stops everything from spinning on me. Just like that, that looks good. Tie it off, I'm just going to do my half hitches. You can try and fit a whip finisher in there if you want, but we're going to glue this pretty good here in a second. Cut it off right about there. Now what I'm going to do before I do anything else, I'm going to spin it upside down. I'm going to get in here with this little tip that's moving too fast on me. And I'm just going to get some of that glue right in there. Now before I hit it with the UV glue, I'm going to take, what do I got laying around that's going to work? How about the end of this hackle? I'm going to get all that glue out of my eye. Because we can. Do it again down here. Just clean it out real good. Spin it upside down again. Let's hit that right there just for a second. Now that's good. The eye's clean. So that's the fly. And that's my pretty standard fly for the McLeod for the October Caddis hatch. Just that little bit of flash in the bottom kind of shines through. What I do before I fish this on the McLeod though is I am actually, when I get to the water, I actually take this hair and I really spread it out good and wide before I start casting. Kind of yank on it pretty hard so that you kind of get this effect when it sits on the water. That's going to allow it to just really rock around on the water and wiggle. You can actually skate this fly a little bit because of the foam in it. Like I said, you can put a dropper behind it. You could do, you know, any number of things. So there's the basic fly. Now, you know, for the upper sack, maybe the Wood, the Williamson, things like that. Go ahead and let's preen all that stuff out of there. This is a great, just standard October Caddis. What we're going to do now is take that same idea that we just did, switch hooks, and make the steelhead skater out of it. So we're just jumping up in size, doing things a little bit bigger on this hook, and we'll do that right now just to show you. Come on out of there. So I've skipped a step because you already saw me wrap this stuff. And what I did here, the only difference that I did is when I cut my foam, I cut it so it was about a 1/4 inch thick when I wrapped it up there, right? And then I took my thread off so that I could tie this other fly for you. So what I like to do here is I'm going to start my thread again on this one. Keep in mind, this is really just the same fly, and all it is an exaggerated L-Care Caddis, this whole thing. So, same thing, I'm going to go grab myself a couple pieces of crystal flash. This, you can use a little bit more flash if you want. Didn't like that flash at all. Just because it's going to be a skater, it's going to be moving a little bit, it's a little bigger of a fly. So, just going to start it off, capture it. I'm going to pull these back into the side, tie it in so it sits off to the side like that. And right about there. Voila. Now we are going to take and do our hair. For this one, I'm just going to use, you know, on the last one I did, I just used the same hair. This one's a little bit longer, a little darker, so I'm just going to do something to show you a little variant there. Let's grab this and get in there, get a big clump of it. Don't need a ton of this, because really the buoyancy is in the foam, not the hair. So we're going to clean this out really good, so we're not having to deal with it later. Oh, you know what? I lied to you folks. We are not going to do that right now. I'm missing a whole step because I'm just not paying attention. Foam. Huh. This happens sometimes. You start skipping steps because you're jumping around, but foam. So what we're going to do here, you see me do this next step on the Rogue River skater that I do, the Rogue River Red Ant. And, you know, this is pretty standard for some scoppers and stuff like that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take and cut a piece, you know, that's a little wide, about a 1/4 inch again, same as I did the body wrap. I'm going to fold it in half so it looks like so, just so I can kind of gauge it. Then I'm going to cut these two things right here together to be a little wedge, right? And then I'm going to take my scissor right up the back of this thing. I'm going to cut kind of a little V in them like that. And then when I tie this in, I'm going to tie it in right at that V, and it's going to cause these little foam wings to kind of come out, and that's going to really help this thing skate well. So right there, we're going to put this thing on top. Same thing, we're pulling up to keep this thing from twisting a little bit, and when it does, just kind of pull it back. So now for fun, when I got that on there, I'm going to come in here and drop one little touch of glue on top of it again, just like I would the deer hair or the elk hair. Hit it with the light. The Klamath guys, you know, the Klamath is just about to start popping off. You Klamath guys are going to love this. You can tie it a little smaller too. This is a 5. You can go, you know, down to a 7. I don't know if I told you what I was doing with it. Sorry. This is the Daiichi 2051. I like it because it's a nice thin hook. But you could use whatever, you know, salmon fly, any you know, any of the salmon hooks that you want that are nice and thin for this you could use. You could even use a 200R if you wanted, just a bigger one. It's just a heavier, you know, kind of a heavier shank. So, back to what I was talking about. I got my hair, I'm stacking it. And clean it again really good. We don't want all those guard hairs and the underfur and all that stuff in there at all. Just the deer hair. So, same thing, we're going to cut right here, clean it up. Just like that, get it in place, look at where I want it, grab it all together, tightening up. Okay, got that where I want it. I'm going to grab a bigger hackle this time because we have a big fly. Nice big wide thing would be great for this. That is not what I wanted to do right there. So take this guy and I'm basically just going to strip it off so that we get the nice big wide stuff. So just looking like that. Tie it in on top and don't get crazy. I mean, if you got little stuff sitting around, that'll work too. Don't have to rip anything up that you don't want to. A little bit of glue once again, because that's going to help this fly just stay together when all of those fish start attacking it. A little bit of light. Wrap this up just a little bit in there. Yeah, blocking that hackle pretty good. Tighten it up. Now, once again, just like with the other deer hair, once I feel like I've gotten enough in there, then what I'm going to do is I'm just pull this all back, and I'm just going to build a head right there behind it. And I actually leave this a little bit long in here because I feel like it allows this foam to just really act like a boat. You know, when I started making this flag, I started calling this one the Chris Craft. And just because I fish it in riffles, I fish it in, you know, pretty heavy water, and it's pretty hard to sink. So, oh, I got a little bit of hackle stuck in there I can see, so I'm going to get in there and dig that out. You can whip finish this one if you want. Because you have more room than you do with the little guy. Now, once again, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to come in here with the glue. And this is my head cement on this. Let me get in there. Get up under here. The light once again. This UV glue stuff, I've really started to like it a lot because it just doesn't take long. Now, if you look here, see these wings? What I'm going to do with them is I'm just going to pull them back just a little bit on the back of that fly so that they kind of sit where I want them. Then when you're out there fishing, once again, just stretch all this stuff out a little bit so it kind of splays out. And that's the fly. You know, you trout spay guys, if you're looking for a skater, that's it. If you're, you know, just looking for a nice heavy water skater to make a lot of noise and stay up there with your regular spay rod, that's it. If you're on the McLeod, the upper sack, and you're looking for your regular old Caddis, it's going to float really well. These foam bodies work good. All right, there you go. Go fishing.